Hey, Huckster here. Getting ready for some spring planting. Moved a lot of grass here. Place I used to live. I planted about 10 years ago, and I planted some elephants in there. A lot more of that grass that I put out here. Some yucca plants. I'm not sure what this bush right here is. It came from the grounds of the Sonic drive-thru. I was waiting for somebody to come help me out with a dead battery one time, and I dug me up a little piece and brought it home, and now I've got 2 big clumps of it. Looks pretty good in the midsummer. This is a marsh plum tree. Should get about 30 foot tall. And this is a Santa Rosa. Should be about 20 foot tall eventually. Here's another Santa Rosa. And I got a crepe myrtle here. And I got some lemon balm and some other things should come up. And this is a Bruce plum tree. These plum trees probably take about another year or so before I really get anything off of them. This is a grape that I did a cutting off of. Just starting to put on some leaves. Made me a little temporary greenhouse here to get some tomato seeds started. Some other seeds. I've got a few tomatoes sprouting up in here. Temperature showing 80 degrees in there, some 50s out here, so it's working just fine. I got some planted some dinosaur food seeds. Supposed to be huge plants. My winter's about over. I'm not going to need much more firewood, so that's kind of playing out for me. I love the spring. Love planting things. Getting ready for new life. Which kind of circled me around to what this video is going to be about. I hate to be. Here's my garden. I get turned up and planted some squash seeds and corn seed. Here's this old gentleman that's been with me a couple of years. He's about slap wore out. Guess I'm gonna have to put some new clothes on him. Straighten him up there a little bit. I guess his shoulders are just too broad for that old ragged shirt. His hat's falling down. But anyway, that's old Fred. But seems like every time I go to my YouTube page, I get videos suggested to me about Armageddon, Endtimes, hell, all kinds of ridiculous stuff. It seems as though Christians today are desiring for an end time apocalyptic happening that they don't try to even see what the Bible really says. You know, when it says all the nations, all the tribes will mourn at the coming of Jesus. In Jerusalem there, at 70 AD, there was representatives, or most of the people from all the tribes of the nation of Israel were there for the feast, for the celebrations. Got sacked in by the approaching Roman armies, and that the happenings of that first century fit right in line with what the scriptures say perfectly, but because Christians want to see it as a worldwide end, earth-shattering, earth-burning disaster, they can't see that it actually happened within the generation that Jesus said it would happen. It's almost as if they're wishing and hoping for people to suffer pain and agony and all this glorious God-created earth to be destroyed, so that they can go on to some kind of heavenly bliss. I think they're going to be sadly mistaken when they find out that they're one of the problems rather than the cure. You know, I heard some statistics about over 1 million kids died in the past decade from starvation. Starvation that could have been prevented, especially if Christians would take at least a part of their tithes to feed children. Our military spends as much in 3 days as it would have taken to save all the children that have died from starvation in the past 10 years. 3 days worth of military spending. But then you get presidents like George W. Bush, who claims that God told him to attack Iraq. You know, I believe that, but you know, you got Christians on here that'll tell people, well, you have religiosity or churchiosity. You don't have a relationship with Jesus like I do. You know, it's always pointing a finger at somebody else and saying, you know, you don't understand God. You don't have a personal relationship with Him. That's the reason you don't have money or don't have fine possessions or a family or whatever. They're just on the, not all of them, but the majority of them are just a bunch of mean, grumpy people. I have tried to have conversations with many preachers. And I remember the last one, I thought he was his brother because they were twins, but they were both preachers. And they go to a big mega church here in town. I went there for a funeral a couple of years ago, and it's like walking into a mansion. It's not the kind of church I remember growing up in. But he asked me where I went to church, and I told him I didn't attend church because I differed with their beliefs. If I could find one that I thought was teaching the truth, I might go. Well, we need to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, we don't know what your problem is. So I said, well, there's a lot of things I don't agree with your beliefs on. And he said, well, what is it? And I said, well, do you believe that we're in the last days? Oh, yes. You don't? No, I don't. And I started giving him reasons why I didn't believe that. And he immediately just got upset with me, turned away from me, and I said, I'll see you later. He wouldn't even turn and acknowledge that I had said anything, just walked away in anger. So he really didn't want to discuss anything. He just wanted to convince me of his beliefs. And that's the reason I don't go to a church. If you don't believe what they believe, then you don't have a relationship with Jesus. You're not a true Christian, and you deserve to be tortured for eternity in a hell. Now, it's sad, but it's true. That's the way these people see things. And I can't see them changing anytime soon. But when they tell me about the rapture, Armageddon, I know it's just their hopes and desires and not truth. And I hope God has mercy on their souls. I'm sure He will. But gotta get at it. Peace, love, justice, understanding, music,